Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever YouTube video, so I appreciate y'all clicking on it. So pretty much I started this channel as a fun way to document the growth of my business, as well as, traveling and lifestyle. Pretty much anything I can think of. There is no set plan to the content of this channel, but it will mostly be art-based because that's what I do the most. So a little bit of background of Colored Afros is the name of the business I started to commission my artwork. I mostly market via Instagram, so I'll set the link to my Instagram page down below. It's just Colored Afros. And then I sell my artwork on Redbubble, and that is a platform where I can upload my designs and my artwork, and people can purchase decor, apparel, stationery, tote bags, anything that you can think of. They pretty much have it in there, and it'll have my art printed on it. And it's a really cool, affordable way for people to support and, rock their Colored Afro swag. I'll set the link to that down below as well. But pretty much the purpose of this introductory video is for you guys to kind of get to know me, and then I'm going to take you on a tour through my 3 of my sketchbooks, just to highlight some of my favorite pieces and give you some background information on the stuff that you see on Instagram. Yeah, so that is the introduction. We'll get into the sketchbook tour. This one right here, this is probably the sketchbook that I've had for the longest. This sketchbook has no blank pages in it. I've used every single one. I was sad when I had to retire this one, because this is where I really started to use my Copic markers, which I'll probably do a video on those another time, but they're basically professional grade alcohol-based markers, and I fell in love with them. They're very expensive, but very good markers as well. They blend beautifully. So this was the first ever drawing that I did using the Copic markers. You can see this was before I started getting comfortable drawing arms and hands and feet, so I got lazy and just kind of cut them out of the picture. But as you can see, they're very easy to blend, and one thing I love about this sketchbook is the paper is really smooth, so when it comes to using like mediums such as markers, it makes it a lot easier to blend, because it doesn't just absorb all the ink like other types of paper would. Alright, so this is the second piece that I did, my blue alien space princess. This was the first one that I ever posted on social media with my Copic markers, and what inspired this was, I love the idea of, mystical women, especially women of color, because I feel like we are naturally, we are magical, and we have, energies within us. And so I like to kind of express that through my drawings. So that is this one. This is probably one of my favorite ones that I did. I call this one Puppet Master. Basically, this is this goddess holding this girl who's asleep, and she's raising her up through the clouds with a bouquet of balloons in her hands and a blindfold. I kind of interpret this as, the goddess is guiding the girl to her destiny, but she's blindfolded because she doesn't know where she's going, but she just has to trust the journey and trust that this smiling goddess has her best interest in mind. Alright, and this one's kind of weird, but I like it too. It's a cool design. I think this was just one day when I really wanted to doodle something, so I was just doing whatever popped into my head. So I love butterflies, especially monarch butterflies, and I love anything with a colorful design, so I just put the two together, and it's a cute little illustration. No real deep meaning behind it. I'm a comic book nerd, so this one, she's a little scary looking, but this is my Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy mix right here. This is where, honestly, like, a lot of the stuff that you see on my Instagram came out of this sketchbook. This is when I really started getting serious about my work. Frank Ocean is one of my favorite artists, and this is one of my favorite songs by him. It's called Pink Matter, and one of the quotes was, "What do you think my brain is made for? Is it just a container for the mind?" That really gets you thinking. I think it's so cool how we have our physical body, but really everything about us is all contained in here, in your mind. Then I got this girl right here. She's very special. She's what inspired my business name, Colored Afros, because this was the first drawing I did of a girl with a colored afro. Yeah, it's really not as deep and cool as you would probably expect it to be, but that's where it came from. This right here, I think I was feeling really down this day I created this, so I kind of made something inspirational for myself, and then I decided to go ahead and post it on my page just to try to inspire other people. But it says, "You are a work of art, beautiful, unique, and meticulously crafted by the hands of God. And just like art, some may like you, others may not, but that does not change your value." And that is very true. We have this design right here, and this is actually, if you go in my shop, you can get a phone case of any of these artworks that I just showed you, and I got the phone case version of this one right here. It's super cute. I was actually really surprised that it came out as well as it did. That's one of the first things I did when I got my Redbubble shop, was to try to order as much stuff as I could, because I never used Redbubble before for anything. I wanted to make sure they actually printed quality material, and they actually do. Like, I was very pleased with that. And then I've had people order things from them, and I've gotten good reviews on the quality of the prints. So that's what makes her special. This is my first, the first thing I got of my own merchandise, which was pretty crazy. It's like a dream come true that I made that work. All right, and then we got the Powerpuff Girls, emphasis on the puff. We got Bubbles, Blossom, Buttercup, of course, with their face beat and sassy attitudes, because why not? And then we have my failed Zodiac project. Okay, so this is Aries, right? I was supposed to do all 12 signs of the Zodiac and never got around to doing it. All I have is Aries and Virgo, which Virgo is in one of these sketchbooks. But one day I'm gonna do it. It's just it's hard. You really have to sit down and be disciplined to do a series like that. Back-to-back Zodiac signs, because these take hours to do, these drawings, and it's very easy to get burnt out when you try to commit yourself to a series. But I'm really happy how this one came out, and I wish I would have stuck with it, but it's not too late, so I'm gonna try it again. And then we got my Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my favorite cartoons. It's very, even though it's for kids, it has very adult themes. It talks a lot about life and energy and chakras, and I really like it. If you ever get a chance, you can. Wait, hold on. I got this is the 16 disc DVD set, the complete series off Amazon. Yes, you will be entertained for hours. You will not be disappointed. But yes, and she is also inspired by Okoye from Black Panther. That's where I got her jewelry and her dress from. Then we have Mother Earth. This is also one of my favorites. I made her green because green is nature. I love the colors. But this is probably the picture where I decided that I would start using a digital program to do black backgrounds, because my black marker was dead after this. It was worth it though. And then we have the Elemental Queen. And this was also inspired by Avatar. I think I was watching the complete series when I did the last 3, so that's why there's so many element-inspired drawings in here. I love that show. But this one is not available on my website right now because I haven't quite figured out how to edit it so you can't see all the patches of black in there. But I think it would be really cool if I can figure that out. It's really a science to this stuff, and I'm not tech savvy, but I'm slowly learning, so hopefully we'll get this one up pretty soon. And then we have our flower child, based like a 80s inspired look with the circle shades and the beads in her hair. Just very colorful, very fun. I was just trying to do something different. I don't want all of my characters to look the same, so I try to, find ways to give them their own personality and their own style. This is a attempted self-portrait. I made my head a little too long. That is one of my biggest things that I want to work on is portraits, because a lot of people come to me wanting a portrait, but I always have to give them the disclaimer, like, it may not look like you, It's very hit or miss. Sometimes it'll look like someone that could be related to you, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to look like you. And this is a prime example. It's just the proportions are very hard to get, and I guess I don't have an eye yet for being able to look at a picture of somebody and then draw them. All right, and then we have the little voodoo queen, and she marks my first attempt to do more full body portraits. If you haven't noticed, like most of my previous ones were from the shoulders up, and I kind of caught on to that a little late that, hey, I don't do a lot of full body pictures. I guess the reason for that is it's a little harder. It requires you to look at the proportions a little more. I was a little critical about this one because I felt like I made her legs too short compared to the rest of her body. So that is one thing. And I have been doing a lot of full body studies so I can learn how to get the proportions right, torso to legs, which is my biggest problem. I always make the legs too short. All right, here's my logo. I designed my own logo. That's my baby right there. I love Mortal Kombat, so I designed my own Mortal Kombat character. It's my little ethereal goddess. She shoots pink fire from her hands and she has wings. I think it's pretty badass. Then we have the Halloween themed pumpkin queen. I was trying to be hip to the holidays this year when I'm posting on my Instagram. I'm really pleased with how it came out. All right, and then we got this lady right here. This is Classy Cheek, and I don't know if you can tell because of the lighting, but she has blue, purple on this side and blue highlight on this side. And you may think that this was intentional, but really, I only had a select few markers on hand. I was doing like a 3 marker challenge pretty much, and I had these colors to work with and created this black and white and with a little hint of purple and blue picture. And then, now, this is I'm just gonna tell you, you can tell I started getting stingy with my black marker right here, right? I was like, there is no way I'm covering a full page with black again. Because these markers are expensive. So I'm like, if there's any way I can spare myself, I'm going to do that. This is the universe pretty much personified as a girl doing the lotus pose with planets and elements floating around her head. As you can see, she has the galaxy for skin. And I think this one was pretty cool. It was fun to do. And it was actually very tedious doing the galaxy on her skin. It ended up taking me a lot longer than I thought it would, even though it's such a small picture. Another example of me being stingy with my markers. But this is probably one of my favorite drawings that I've ever done. This is the Tree of Knowledge. As you can see, she has the fruits of her wisdom. Her skin is symbolized by a trunk, you know, brown skin, brown trunk only makes sense. You know, the leaves of a tree looks like an afro. And then we have her throne of knowledge that she is sitting on, contemplating. What is she thinking about? Alright, then we have the Women in Color series, which was the first series that I ever finished. So exciting. We have the red. She represents fire and passion and, you know, all things extreme. Things that you think about when you see the color red. And then we have the blue one. She represents wisdom and insight, intelligence. That's why she has her third eye. She looks very mystical. And then we have the yellow, representing joy and youthfulness, vibrance, the sun. She's very, you know, content and smiley, you know, cheerful, you know, associated with the color yellow. Then we have the green, very earthy, very natural. And then purple, she represents royalty. This one was probably my least favorite out of the Women in Color series. Just because I feel like the concept wasn't really translated onto the page how I wanted it to be. Yeah, that's the end of that sketchbook. And briefly, these other two don't really have much in them, but I'm gonna just show you a couple pages out of them. This is a incomplete work that I did. I don't know if you're familiar with the anime 7 Deadly Sins, but I did little Afro versions of all the characters on this page. It is incomplete. I never finished it, and I don't know why. This is one of my most recent pieces. This is the Lotus Fairy. It was requested that I do a work with a lotus in it, so I was really inspired to create this. She has this glowing lotus in her hands. And this is really when I started to play with light too. I have this habit of neglecting the light in my pictures. So if she has something glowing in her hands, I want you to be able to see the pink in her hair and the pink on her face, and for it to look like it's naturally happening. So that's what I was really practicing on when I did this. And you can see what I'm talking about. I think it adds more drama to the picture than if I didn't add the pink highlights. And that is literally it for that sketchbook. Still got a long way to go in this baby. And this is one of the first paintings I ever did. The sun and the moon. As you can see, I love the sun and the moon. They just go together. I love the symbolism of it. Then we have, these are my pencil drawings. I don't do a lot of them, but this is the first one I did where I incorporated eyeshadow into the coloring of it. You can see I used the browns and the grays. And then we have this one. This probably took the longest out of any drawing that I've ever done. But I like how it came out. Just because the braids were very, very, very tedious. And then we have a self-portrait, but not really self-portrait. This one kind of looks like me. This is probably the closest I've ever gotten to doing a successful self-portrait. But I used to have twists in my hair, so that's what inspired the hairstyle on this. And we have this big sketchbook. It's probably my favorite sketchbook. I'm trying to get more into my painting side, so that's what I'm going to use this for, because this has the paper for it. Just hit myself. All right, we have the Geometric Queen. I love this piece. It was fun to do. I used eyeshadow to color her cheeks and her eyes. Then we have an Assassin's Creed character. She has her spear. And you do not want to mess with her. She has spikes on her cuffs. Color pencil version of her. I don't know why I never finished that. I have a lot of unfinished works in my sketchbook. So I think that is the end of that one. So as you can see, I still have a long way to go in my last two sketchbooks. So yeah, of course there's a ton more art that I could show, but I don't want to make the video too long. That was just like a brief introduction of the type of art that I do. And you know, if you're interested in seeing more or interested in watching videos of me while I do my art, seeing like my drawing style, I'll definitely be posting some of those on here. And any more questions or comments, feel free to comment below on stuff you want to see. Yeah, I'm really not sure how to end a video, so I'm just going to do it awkwardly and ask you to like and subscribe to my channel if you feel like it. Bye.